Thank you, Alex, and hi to everyone. So, yes, my name's Jo Cruickshanks. As Alex kindly said, I'm very blessed to have spent the last 25 years helping brands with their strategy and digital strategy, content strategy, and business strategy. So, I'll just do a little bit about me. So, I have that strategic background, and I've earned the kind of I've been in the battlefield of strategic sort of implementation for all of those years, and at the same time I'm a bit of a rebel, and I don't really like to do things in a samey way. So one of the reasons people like working with me is that I see things from a different perspective. And I always found it difficult to kind of articulate how I saw things strategically from a different place than other people. And when I found the Blue Ocean strategy, I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. There's tools here that help business owners and leaders just sort of play with thinking about things in a different way. So that's why I wanted to share. It's not my framework. None of this is mine. It's just tools that I find really useful and have found useful in mapping out new possibilities. And obviously, you know, we're in a period of time where, you know, it's not great, but we can use tools and ideas, and we can look at how other people have innovated to create our own blue oceans. So it's really good for finding new opportunities, which is what I know a lot of people are looking for at the moment. So Blue Ocean strategy is based on the best-selling book. It's been translated into over 41 languages. It's basically, looking back at 150 strategic moves over 100 years. So it's looked backwards. So there's a hell of a lot of, looking at how people have actually innovated and created new opportunity, in the face of adversity often. So Blue Ocean strategy focuses on making your competition irrelevant by creating uncontested market spaces, which is what everyone would love, I'm sure. It covers strategy formulation and execution, and it's packed. Basically, it's a book and a website. So after this, if you like the kind of ideas and things that I show you, you can then go on there, get the book, and sort of really dive deeper into each of the exercises. For me, I'm going very light across this. I'm probably not going to do, the depth of how far you can work with this any justice today, in the time that we've got, and also in this medium, because I can't see anyone. So a lot of working with people that I love when we're looking at new ideas comes from the interaction and the collaboration, which can still happen online, but normally I need to see people, but that's fine. So why I love it is it allows teams to step out of disillusioned and repetitive safe thinking. So my background is owning creative agencies, and businesses of all sizes have come to me over those years because they know that they need to get out of repetitive safe thinking. And really, this is like, your creative strategist in a box. The Blue Ocean gives you the chance to play around with, new thinking and ways to see your business. So we're going to start with a reality check, because, it's just good to know where everyone is. So I'm going to put up a screen on the next slide, and you can read through each of those really quick and just see which ones appeal to you. And, if you find yourself nodding, we'll just see. So I'll start reading. So I'll shorten them. So do you feel like you're facing increasing competition from rivals? Does your company depend on offering deeper and deeper price discounts to make sales happen? Is your company increasing advertising and marketing spend year after year, yet the impact keeps falling? Is your company focusing on cost cutting and quality control? Obviously, everyone is probably a little bit at the moment, at the expense of growth and innovation and brand creation. Do people in your company blame slow economic and market conditions most of the time? That could be something that we're slipping into. Is your company seeing outsourcing and job cuts as a way to regain competitiveness and profitability? Could be definitely an option now. Does your company see mergers and acquisitions as one of the main principles to grow in the future? Does your company think it's easier to follow competitors rather than break away from them? Is your company now starting to worry that the marketplace has become crowded, or actually, you could say, almost irrelevant? So if you, according to the book, so again, these are not my checklists, but these are things that generally cause pain for people in business. So if you have 3 of yeses, if you have 3 if you have 3 yeses, chance you are operating in a red ocean. And that's not a bad thing, because that's how most people, that's just how it is. And like I said before, blue ocean is a new mindset, really. So it's nothing wrong. It's just, there could be another way of looking at this.
So Warren says, yikes, none of the above.
Oh, that's good. Maybe you're already in a blue ocean, Warren.
There you go, Warren.
We'll see. So what is a red ocean? So a red ocean describes a marketplace where companies compete with each other on a daily basis. So basically, it's a metaphor for sharks swimming in a small ocean with a limited food supply. And the water is red, the ocean is red, because of the blood and the bloody battle for acquiring market share, increasing revenue, maximization of profit by reducing cost and value, and basically beating competition. It takes most of your time, effort, and resource. The sharks fight for competitive advantage with 2 strategic weapons. So if you are in a red ocean, your two things that you pull on when you're going, right, we need a strategy for next year. You pull on differentiation, so of the customer experience, the product and operational excellence, for example, and low cost. So those are your 2 strategic weapons when you're in a red ocean. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So as I described before, it's like a shark with 2 teeth. So you've got, it's a 2-tooth shark. One is differentiation and one is low cost. That could be why it's so bloody as well, because they haven't got many teeth. So it becomes even more difficult. So the problem with differentiation and low cost, there's a dilemma. There can only be one price leader in a market, i.e. the one who is the cheapest. And also to continue to focus on continual differentiation, the higher the segmentation, so who it appeals to, the market size decreases. So the opportunity becomes more refined the more differentiation you create, because it's expensive often to keep piling money into differentiation, and who that appeals to becomes narrower and narrower. Yeah.
Yep. Stephen says, I am with you. Great way of viewing the situation via a red ocean.
Yes, thank you. I love it too. That's why I'm a storyteller. So I love anything with metaphors and things that people can really grasp quickly. So that's great. So really, when you're in a red ocean, it can feel like a bloody battle that no one really wins. And, even before COVID, it can feel like we're just treading water to even gain a 10% growth or a 5% growth, or any of those things that, traditional marketing strategy can feel quite content with. The thing is, all companies in an industry are competing for an increased area in the same sized ocean. So we can never, unless you've got a lot of money to pile into the differentiation and then the budget behind it to spend on advertising, you're unable to buy more of the ocean, as it were. But good news and bad news is consumers really don't care about you surviving in the ocean. They care about value. And this is the thing that I love about Blue Ocean as well. If you take nothing else from this, it's to think about how your customer cares about value to them. And in this framework and in this mindset and perspective, business is about delivering value, solving problems and creating profit, not fighting bloody battles only to keep swimming in them. So it gives us a reminder of why. So if you feel like everything you're doing is just about the competition and oh God, they've got £5 off, you know, all of that, chances are that there's another way when we start thinking about actually delivering value. So skillful leaders win wars without any fighting. Sun Tzu, Art of War. So it's this idea of swimming. So now we're going to, you know, dive into the idea of the blue ocean. So blue ocean strategy builds new businesses where none existed by tapping the untapped market space, by creating demand, thereby making competition irrelevant. And it's worth saying they're irrelevant for a period of time, probably. You know, the market moves so quickly at the moment, but you're always, by adopting the mindset of a blue ocean freediver, as I'm calling it, you can, you know, it just becomes your natural state to keep expanding the ocean. Blue ocean strategy is about creating value innovation and offering low cost at the same time. So this might rattle some feathers a little bit because we as entrepreneurs get really like attached to the value of our proposition being determined often by a high price point or what we perceive the value to be. And actually Blue Ocean, the mission of Blue Ocean is how can I lower the cost and create more value at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's a, you know, it feels quite unsafe for many at first when you start thinking, because we have to let go of all the stories we've been telling ourselves about why the thing was so important and valuable in the first place. So unless you can't hear it already, I am a bit rebellious, so I apologize if the rebel comes out. Value innovation is defined in terms of value and utility for the customer. So this model, as I have always advocated for, is about, you know, really serving that value with absolute authenticity. So this sort of method asks us as leaders and owners and entrepreneurs to really like take a moment and step in the mirror and go, right, okay, where am I kidding myself that the thing that I'm offering is actually of value. So blue markets are usually more profitable than markets with head-to-head competitors because they've created something new. And obviously, I know you've been doing some branding workshops, Alex, but the power of brand is you know, we don't buy products, we buy stories. Mm-hmm. And a blue ocean is an authentic story baked in strategically to a brand, so that the brand proposition doesn't just become a superficial, oh, that looks nice, but actually the thing's shit. It becomes baked into the very heart of the brand, into the heart of whatever you do. So this is why I like this, because it creates alignment all the way through strategically. Yeah. So blue oceans feel creative, expressive, spacious, limitless, and abundant. So, you know, whatever, you know, these are all just concepts and models for you to just expand how you might be thinking about things at the moment. So that's, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to jump into the blue ocean tomorrow, because for some it can feel quite daunting. So, but it's just allowing ourselves to use the tools to just like break out of the box.
I've just posted up a poll as well. So anybody watching, let me know. Are you in a red ocean right now? Yes, no, don't know. Be interested to know how many of you watching, what your perception of you and your business is right now, whether you're in a red ocean or not. Back to you, Jay.
Yeah, so blue ocean, along with agile methodology and all of the stuff I love, value proposition design, starts with the first thing of acknowledging our own delusion that we think what we've got is the answer. And a lot of this is all about, well, we don't really know the answer. We have a hypothesis where we might deliver value, and then we work like that. So we never assume that we've got the answer when we're putting the strategy together. I think that's a key differentiator for me. Right, so the cornerstone of Blue Ocean is value innovation, like I said. So you can see in that diagram what we're looking to do, and you might not want to do this, and that's fine, but it's just allow you, just ask what would happen if I did do that? What could I do? Just allow his brain to go there. So it's like you bring the cost you bring the cost down and the buyer value up. So your cost savings are made by eliminating, reducing the factors an industry competes on. So you drop the non-important things that everyone's rattling on about, and you increase or lift or raise the buyer value by creating elements the industry has never offered. So that's worth saying as well. Blue Ocean could just be one aspect of your business, and it's the thing that is surprising and makes you the only ones that do that. In fact, that's a really good way to apply it, because Alex, for me, branding's about onlyness. So we are the only ones who, if you haven't got, okay, there you go. If you haven't got we are the only ones who, and you can't use the fastest, the cheapest, the nicest people, because that doesn't mean really, it's not a massive differentiation, because you hear it everywhere. What's the only thing? The onlyness of your company. If you haven't got that really clear, then chances are you're probably in a red ocean. Yeah. Or you've got red ocean thinking. Yeah. And it's just an invitation to discover your onlyness, really, because the onlyness is the blue ocean. And it's surprising, it might be a bit risky. For example, me with breathwork, let's just put this in there. I combine breathwork with brand strategy, and I reduce that down into workshops so that I can offer more to more people. So I can bring, do you see what I mean? So I can bring well-being and leadership and different mindset perspectives into one thing.
Yep, get that. Stephen says, Rich Redmond Group is a value-based business, but the problem within our sector is even value-based customers, tier one contractors, are now led by price in the market, or they will be left with no option but to exit trading. And I'm sure a lot of people are coming from that mindset, aren't they? It's a mindset shift as well.
Yes. And so, I mean, maybe, well, let's go on, because maybe we can do a live example, and I can pluck something out of somewhere and just look at it a different way. Because actually, this isn't a perfect model for complete business strategy, but it could be it could be as simple as the way that you talk about what you do. Even when you say tier one, blah, 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 it's like, that's value to you in your industry. But do you see what I mean? So it could, in a brand way, it could be the way that you talk about it. Yeah. Is there anyone approaching what you do with humor? Is there anyone, those kind of things? Anyway, I'll show you how you can think about that. So value innovation. So what this value innovation is kind of like, it's the brave move of Blue Ocean in terms of, you have to change your product and but there are elements of Blue Ocean that I find really useful, whether you're willing to drop the cost and increase the value in the way that they say. That's because I'm a bit of, you can borrow from it basically. But what I like is the idea is that we're breaking the pattern of mediocrity that fighting over the same ocean brings to business and keeps them from actually doing great things in the world. 3 ingredients of a good blue ocean. Focus. So a company does not try to focus on all areas of competitive advantage. The focus needs to be laser clear to the customer. Divergence. The shape of the value curve diverges from competitors, not from benchmarking, but from exploring alternatives. And you have a compelling one-liner. So the invitation is, and value is really clear. So I'm going to jump in. Is everyone with me?
Yep. We've got a split at the moment as well. Literally exactly the split between yes, I'm in a red ocean, no, I'm not in a red ocean, or I don't know if I'm in a red ocean.
Oh, great.
All equal. Third.
Brilliant. Exciting. So for the blue ocean people, you know, I would say blue ocean strategy is really good for really focusing on that, you know, what's compelling, where's the value, etc., and bringing that out in your communication and everything you do. So it's just a good way. If you're not there, brilliant. You're progressive, you know, game-changing type of person who's already seen that innovation is needed. Now, how can you use this to, you know, further differentiate and add value? That's kind of and also create the new markets. So I'm going really quickly because
time.
Okay, so
we can get you back in another couple of weeks.
Because actually these things, you know, they do need a bit of attention. But so the first tool that I love is the strategy canvas. And just looking at the time, we're not going to have time to do pen and paper, but I'll just run through it because what's good to do. So it's a diagnostic and an action framework. So first of all, on a horizontal axis, you put the current state of play in the known market space. So you put along what most people, what you're competing on currently in your industry. For example, let's say customer service, price, creativity, name some other things, results. So these are all the things that you currently in your marketplace like compete on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty much the same. Very, you know, some technical expertise, engineering, those kind of things. So you put that along the bottom horizontal axis, and then you do the vertical axis, and you mark yourself kind of on the level that you think you're performing. So let's say the vertical is 10, and you say, well, we're 2 on customer service, we're 10 on price, we're 2 on creativity, and we're 3 on results. In truth, it's just for you to look, and then you take your competitors and you start mapping them, and it shows what it shows is that how, in a way, for a start, it shows what you would normally class as the SWOT. You know, it shows the traditional SWOT in the red ocean, but you can also see by doing this exercise that it shows that really there's no room for you to actually differentiate fully. So you might have then a strategic execution to increase customer service and spend loads of money on training and blah, 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 and all of those things. So you're investing your profit into those things, but then so is everyone else. If that makes sense. So it's just a really good way to kind of have a bit of a reality check. And whenever I've done it, and this is like a no shame kind of like, no one's doing it wrong. It's just good to see where the gaps are, really, or where the blind spots are. That's the more of the term. So that's the tool, and I suggest going on to their website where it gives you, I think there's little videos and they can talk you through it, and then you can just have a look and start seeing, you know, where your weaknesses are and stuff like that.
Mm.
Then what you do once you've had a look at that is you say, okay, so what? And so then you start the questioning, and this is a 4-part grid on the right there. So you've got eliminate, raise, reduce, and create. And you can do this with your team or alone, post-it notes, favorite friends. And you can just, like, nothing has to be super heavy or set in stone in strategic ideation. You want to go bigger. You want to go out into the crazy, that's never going to work kind of thinking, to come back in again. So and they do offer other questions to ask, but you start asking yourself which factors that our industry takes for granted should be eliminated. So let's say everyone thinks that customers care about, I don't know, terms and conditions being really, I don't, you know, like they care about a handwritten note with every e-commerce order, but everyone's doing it because when one person started doing it, everyone started doing it. So does the customer actually, and you're spending, you had to train the guy to do the nice handwriting for your brand, he's spending blah 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 at the delivery. I actually did this, as what came into my head. And then you ask people, what do you really care about? And they don't care about that. They want to know when they can get their order delivered and choose the time. So sometimes when we're doing the wonderful brand differentiation, and you know, as a branding person, we can take responsibility for that, because it's like, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if that brand experience, but often a lot of that is still not really creating much value back to the customer. It might make them feel good for a little while, but it only takes the next brand to come along with a, you know, hand-drawn painting with every order, and you've lost your customer again. So which factors has your industry long competed on that could be eliminated or reduced? And what are the factors of competition that you see that are a waste of time from doing the previous, you know, and again, just allow yourself to question it. And what factors have we taken for granted but no longer have any value? So where have we got stuck in delivering maybe the same thing, and actually, you know, that's not that important at the moment? For example, all of us may have really cared about things looking super professional, but at the moment it's more important that we connect and serve people and that kind of thing. So, you know, the factors have shifted of perfection or production perfection kind of thing. The message is more important. Which factors do we need to reduce? Which factors do we need to raise? So in the raising bit is where you can see, oh, creativity would be good to come up. And actually, if we care about creativity, what could we create? So, you know, oh, we could do a podcast with Alex, because, you know, podcasting's the future, and that's the blue ocean. No one is doing in Warren's market podcasts and making them fun, because I bet, Alex, you can make anything fun and interesting, right? Any topic, any.
Of course I could.
Yeah. That's the thing, when you take a value innovation approach and you're understanding how your service, products and services solve not just a functional problem, but an emotional problem for someone, and also that they are human, you can build other elements into your brand strategy that really set you apart authentically. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that. So 4 actions framework, really useful. And also I use this framework for just like, you know, doing not full strategic pivoting, but just like monthly, like, what do I need to stop? What do I need to start? What do I reduce? And what can I create?
Good question from Warren. I'll just throw in Joe. How would Joe evaluate the strategy canvas when you are struggling to find exact competitors creating a similar product?
So look at the industry or things that are similar to what you're offering, I think I would do. So what industry is he in?
I think Warren, am I right? Fashion. I'm gonna be posting up in the podcast group. Post up, Warren. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Come back to that one.
Fashion. I'm right. Yeah, he's put fashion. Yeah.
Okay. So fashion is the industry that you are operating in. So that's your ocean, as it were. So and are you high or low end fashion? So fashion competes on, is it high end, is it low end, quality, materials, blah, 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 price, luxury versus sustainable, you know, all of those things. I've spent years in the fashion industry, so So
Yeah.
that's the ocean in which you're saying, well, we're the sustainable okay. So I'll move on because it kind of makes sense as we go on, I hope, anyway. God, right. So the other thing about Blue Ocean is that, just going back to fashion, so for example, fashion would be asking not just how can we decrease the cost and increase the value, it also asks us to look outside of our current market. So, and I also love this for thinking about new value propositions and new things that we can do, because it just gives you freedom. So I'm going to just start by saying, just so this can expand. So Cirque du Soleil is a Blue Ocean strategy. It took the industry of circus or entertainment, and so circuses were traditionally, you know, in a field down the local rec, £5 to get in, nafski, plastic thingies, you know, popcorn, candy floss, etc. And theatre, on the other hand, was a high-end, highbrow cultural entertainment thing. And so with Blue Ocean, they were able to say, okay, well, what people love about circus is the, you know, the wow, that kind of thing. And why does that have to stay in the market of kind of people who go down the road? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they were able to ask, what if we took the elements of circus within entertainment industry, and we then said, okay, so current market is that. Then they looked at soon to be, so people who might think about circus, maybe if they got a couple of free tickets, or, you know, it was literally on their doorstep. Tier 2 are the people who go, I would never go, you'd never see me dead in a circus, way too lowbrow for me. And then tier 3, completely unexplored. So can you see that what they did is they took circus and they took it to tier 2 and tier 3. And what they created was the wonderful complete Blue Ocean of Cirque du Soleil through innovating beyond their own current market. So they took what people loved and took value of circus and took it into refusing an unexplored market.
Got it.
So yeah, so this is so good, and you can play around with this. And as always, all strategy takes a lot of researching and playing around, and you know, a lot of stalking people, you know, Cora and things like that are your best friends. If you're in fashion industry, you know, if I'm doing a strategy for someone, which I don't really do anymore, I more guide people to do it themselves. But if I used to, I mean, I'd be like a complete stalker, looking at what are people saying about brands, what do they want, what are they feeling, what's the tone of the language, blah 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 blah, because it's in that you get the ideas for where it could go. Yeah, so this is all a bit wordy. So the universe of non-customers typically offers the Blue Ocean opportunity. So the people, for example, who aren't buying fashion from Warren's company now, and they probably refuse it because it's way too trendy, or it's too this or too that, those are where you want to look to take a Blue Ocean strategy. And the way that you look is by finding the similarities of values and benefits that those refusing in tier 3 are looking for in their life. So again, this is all about understanding the universe, the needs and the wants and the values of your non-customers. So yeah, so it just explains then what the refusing and unexplored is, but that's how you do it. So you stretch beyond, and you know, iTunes is an example of that. There's so many of them that they talk about in the books, but that's why I love this, because it's like you can see when, even if you never do it, if you just allow yourself to do the exercise, you'll see crazy things come in, of course, but that's the whole point of strategy, is you land on a, oh, that's a bit weird, but it could be interesting, and then you start researching it. Does that make sense? If I still got everyone with me.
Yeah, Warren says, we believe we can redefine how fashion brands sell, create, and communicate with their end consumer. Our objective is to change the wholesale, retail, and marketing landscape by formulating a completely new approach to global e-commerce. Hope that doesn't sound too pitchy.
No, I love it. And then I would say, I mean, most of my career has been about taking fashion and beauty online, and into that market, because there was a lot of kickback, for example, in beauty industry right at the beginning, sort of 20 years ago, as to whether people would even buy fashion or beauty online. I remember I worked in luxury brands and they were all like, no, people are never going to they're not going to buy this luxury brand online. And, they were wrong, obviously, but it's listening to the crazy ideas. And I think I've said for years, Warren, that the problem with the fashion industry is the way the business is done and set up. So it's perfect. So yeah, brilliant. So but I might be able to help you on your little pitch with the next exercise. This is to finish on, so we'll finish on this. So there are loads of tools. That's the 3 that I love for starting to think about creating your blue ocean. So, and remember, these are not hacks. They're just, there's no quick win with strategy. It always takes time to unfold, and I will talk about how you move forward. But just quickly, everyone loves having a clear tagline, but the elevator pitch can sound a bit salesy. So I call it an elevated pitch. So what you want to think about is, so you start with, how, and I'm going to use Warren's example, the fashion industry is the biggest producer of waste, and both in materials, money, time and energy in the world. Well, imagine if the whole business model of fashion was rethought and we could collaborate with the marketplace to reimagine what fashion looks like. It would mean that there would be less waste, that people would enjoy fashion again, that the unethical production could stop, that the waste could stop, blah, 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 blah. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do an elevated. So you start with, how, and that's the problem you've seen. So the thing that you're sort of looking to solve. Then you take, well, imagine if, and that's to your vision, and then it would mean that, and then how it provides value back to the market, especially if it's a market that doesn't, the ones that we talked about, the uncommon market. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, this is a really ugly slide, but I just wanted to show you, this is a strategy canvas of a wine company. So you can see here, it's looking at the whole industry. You've got premium wines and you've got budget wines. And then you've got the things that they all compete on, whether they're premium or budget. Yeah, and there's this gap there, and you can play around with any of them, but you're still going to be kind of playing in that ocean. And this is Yellowtail Wine, how they sort of innovated and blue oceaned. So they reduced use of terminology, they reduced above the line marketing, they reduced aging quality, because they said, there's some people who don't give a shit about that. They sort of reduced vineyard prestige a little bit, complexity down, wine range down, easy drinking up, ease of selection up, and fun and adventure up. And you can read about their story, but I think they had huge success just from innovating to bring people who weren't considering drinking wine or refused a lower price wine. Do you see what I mean? So they So they really thought about, what do people actually need? Why are they? So we'll take beer drinkers and we'll move them onto wine or whatever. So you can see how you can start to shift across markets that are currently refusing to adopt your proposition.
Okay.
So go on.
No, I'm just seeing comments. People networking here, which is good. Simon Cox says it's wine. It's very attractive to all of us, Joe. Carry on.
I hope I haven't lost people, because I know it's, but so I think
no, everyone's still on who started. So
okay, that's good. Yeah. That's good. No, I mean lost them as
yeah.
This is a lot to take on. Key thing is it is a mindset shift. That's what you just need. I'm just going to think about this differently. Have a go on the website, maybe get the book if you like this way of thinking, but don't get super attached to it and beat yourself up and go, I've got to find my blue sky. Just play around with some of the thinking. Do it your way. That's the thing, and do what feels right, but allow yourself to think about the value and innovation and new possibilities you can create. Ask the new questions. And you'll get different answers. And when we start getting different answers, we can create new things. All we're doing is expanding our limited ideas. That's what the exercise is. And, be human, allow agility in. And the other thing is, you find the right place to start. So is it on, we're just going to make wine drinkable and we're going to, make it fun, and everyone else is making it serious? So that's like imagery and design. What's the current state of play? So we are in a really unusual situation at the moment, and to think about, you've always got to bring context into this. Uncover the hidden pain points of your shifting marketplace, which is key at the moment. And I always do that by watching and listening to people. If you're a strategist, you become obsessed with psychology. And you reconstruct market boundaries. So don't be scared to play around to move across market boundaries. As long as it's driven by value and purpose, then it will still feel aligned. And basically, just start with a small part, and then you can test it and talk to people and say, what do you think of? But do it in the way that I just said, in a more elevated way. So you're taking people beyond their logical and local, and you're igniting in them a different way of looking at it as well, because that's what a blue ocean does. And then you can iterate and finalize and collect the data. Did it work? So you start small and you can dip your toe in before you're ready to dive into that blue ocean.
Thanks. Simon says we are all in thought.
Or are you in the wine? You've gone to the wine. It's Friday afternoon.
It is. Everyone's knocking off earlier these days, aren't they, during lockdown? I've definitely seen that.
Off earlier and on later. What I'm doing. So that's like a really quick swim. Front crawl into the blue ocean. And there's so much online that can, at a time like this, what we want to be doing is expanding our mind that these kind of things, where in the face of adversity, someone's done something different, driven by spotting a value or noticing something, and they, that we want to be expanding our conscious mind, our subconscious, that those things are possible, so that we're training our neurology to go, oh yeah, that can happen. Sorry, that's my timer.
You've finished before time, which is good. So
any questions? Let's see if anyone has any questions.
I'll unfocus your screen and bring us up. There we go. I'll actually close that one. There we go. Okay, so Warren says, do you have blue ocean thinking throughout your life outside of business? That's a good question. Of course, you knew the answer to that, Warren, but it was good to post it up. Simon, thank you. I'll watch it again to understand more, but appreciate your help. We are WordPress web designers with 17 years experience. What tips could you give us?
Oh God, that's a blue ocean in itself. You need to think about who's not using you. So Squarespace, people who are just doing Squarespace on their own will be refusing you. Yeah, I get it. You feel free to email me, joe@thebreathery.co, because I've got 20 years of agency experience under my belt, and I did a lot of innovation and blue sky stuff with my agency, and I know the perils and pitfalls. So you can email me and I'll happily give you some of my learnings.
That's a good one. Christopher says, can the metaphor be expanded to include dry oceans, markets that are dwindling for everyone?
I guess it could. And, you know, we could, yeah. And do you mean whether they're going to be re-watered again or whether they're just like, we should forget about them? And
Taruna's got to go, but she says, I'm a service-based business and then mentor and coach.
It's still, so basically, possibly markets with no interest at all. So it's if you just Google Blue Ocean, it is a book and a website. I don't agree that there's, you know, I think if you, I mean, this comes down to brand strategy as well. If you create authentic value based on, there's another whole piece of work that I do, that I also have worked a lot with companies to find their business purpose. And for me, you can't really do Blue Ocean if you don't know what your values and purpose are, so that you can align that. So if your organization really cares about X, then you can also start to move forward with that. And that can be really authentic as well, because we're all human and humans buy humans. So yeah, I mean, in Blue Ocean, they are brave enough to say that there's no business too small and there's no industry that can't adopt Blue Ocean strategy. I would say, I can't say yes or no to that, but what I can say is an authentic story and a strategy that delivers value, like real value, that can happen for anyone and everyone. And that's where things like podcasting and giving your value before you ask for it back is good
phrase. Yeah, like a free podcast.
Is the future, yeah.
Alex is smiling at the word podcasting. Of course.
So yeah, so I think whatever market you're in or industry you're in, dare to kind of take some of the insights of thinking about things in a new way, because that's really, when you employ a creative branding strategist like me, that's what you're paying for. So these are just good tools to get that thinking going.
Did you see Marco's comment?
What is it?
Aren't some deep blue oceans possibly markets with no interest at all?
Have you got an example? Marco, give me an example.
That's a Christopher say maybe, but the market for lamplighters has disappeared. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I've put the website up, Tom, by the way. Sorry.
So as always, frameworks are guidance. They're never a complete thing. They're one way to look at things. And when you're looking for new strategy, you have to come at it like from all angles. That's all I can say. Coming up with a compelling strategy is not linear. It looks linear on a spreadsheet when you're forecasting, but the process of strategic work is innovating and creating value and creating marketing strategy that actually is sustainable and people want to pay any attention to is, that's not I'm just going to sit here for 5 minutes and do that. It's an art, it's a process. So allow yourself to, value proposition design is also a really good framework I love. So if you want me to come back and do that, I love doing that one. And
I think everyone's just searching at the moment. We found when we started doing these live webinars, maybe, I can't even remember now, you lose track of time, don't you? 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was all about, what government support is out there, what loans can I get, what grants, and now it's like people are looking for solutions, they're looking for tools, and solutions. I've definitely seen that shift over the last month happen.
So some of the best tools I've ever found is Blue Ocean, light touch, because you've got to bring your own thing into it, as like I said, combined with value proposition design. It's brilliant. The business model canvas, one-page canvas, is amazing for organizing your thoughts and your business model. Most businesses, problem other than a pandemic, one of the weaknesses is that we don't have really strong business models on which to build a strategy, or the other way around. They're both kind of thing.
Cool.
So that's it. So be brave, dive into the Blue Ocean. I'd love to hear any thoughts. And yeah, just connect with me or Alex, because he'll pass anything on. If you have any questions, I would love to see what comes out. So if something crazy comes out and you go, shit, can I really combine X with Y and that actually be a thing and people would go for that, just come and pitch it to me in your one-liner and I'll tell you what to do next.
Awesome. So I have posted up both of our LinkedIn profiles there for people to connect. And like I say, anything that I hear, because I know quite a few of the people in here now who watch a lot of the webinars, like Simon and Warren at Umesh, who you know as well, Joe Mesh from Sweden. He's on all the webinars yesterday as well. So I get to know quite a few people. So loads of thank yous coming in. Simon, Stephen,
stand in front of the whiteboard. Make sure you've do some go outside and shake for a little bit and then come in, because what you want to do is just get the brain, take some deep breaths, just change your state, and then ideas will flow. You want to be in flow state when you're doing this. 100%. That's another story.
Christopher, thank you very much.
Thanks everyone.
Anka, thanks. Brilliant. Yes, thank you everybody very much indeed. Really enjoyed it today. I've been taking notes, so that's why I was quite quiet for a lot of the time as well, and I had my screen shut off as well. So I need to do this exercise again. I haven't done it for a little while.
We all need to keep doing it because it just keeps us fresh.
100%. Thanks, Joe. Maybe when are we booking in now? Week commencing the 18th of May. We got the next 2 weeks sorted, and we're booking in 2 weeks' time. So let me know any good days.
Well, value proposition design would be a good follow.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Inspiration can give you I wonder if, and then through value proposition design, which we would need lots of post-it notes at hand. But again, I could do it quickly, but it's just a good way to start working. That gets us to think really in depth about our customers and what's keeping them up at night. And are our ideas actually, because there's having good ideas and then there's having useful ideas.
Awesome. Joe Cruickshanks, as always. Great. Thank you very much indeed. And everybody connect. LinkedIn, easy.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Cheerio now. Have a great weekend, everybody, by the way. Stay safe.
Good weekend. Enjoy the sun if it continues.
Long may it continue. Tomorrow's meant to be good. I did have a quick look. Tomorrow's meant to be good.
Great.
And then it's a 4-day week next week because it's a bank holiday. But what's the difference? Every day's a bank holiday. Peace out. Bye now, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.